Okay,
Yeah,
the recording is starting.
Hey, go on.
It's
Go
a bit
on,
strange.
Go on. Yeah. There's the manager sitting back. Go on.
Just go. Yeah.
Come up with your script.
Yeah.
Action.
So we're gonna talk about nothing, but nothing seems to be also everything. Everything is like buildings and bodies and streets and all that. So that's what we call everything. But the strange thing is, when we're talking about that, it's also nothing. And that's what we normally, it's not seen. When there's like, it's everything like the wall and the body and feelings and things hearing. It seems like that's the only thing there is. That's real. We see it as real. Everything is real. What we see, it's solid and all that. And also, what normally is going on, what a lot of most people, is that there's a feeling of I am someone. I am someone. I have to live my life. I have to do something to make it work and all that. And then when that's going on, when that feeling of I'm someone, that means that it suddenly seems like everything is real. Everything is suddenly strong and, oh, is there someone coming? Okay. So everything seems real. When there's really little children, it's just one. They don't have that ability to look at themselves, to be aware of what's going on. And that's just going on. And then suddenly, after like 2 years, something like that, and suddenly that brain has that ability to look at yourself and to see like, oh, here is someone, there's a distance, and we live in time that can that be there. So then suddenly that whole thing like, oh, I'm here, and it's a feeling of, yeah, you could say separation because that's the normal word, but there's also a feeling of, oh, there's a loss of something. That it's not a feeling, but that one, not being one, is lost because there's suddenly there feels like I'm here and there's the world, or there's other people, or there's my mother, or all that. And then there's suddenly that feeling of, hi Janet, come in. Hi, good to see you. Suddenly that feeling, there's something lost. And when there's that feeling, there's something lost, there can be also a drive to make it right. And that's what normally is going on, that idea that, oh, there's something lost and it doesn't feel nice, or like there's something missing, maybe I'm not good enough. That can also be the feeling. And then there's suddenly, because there's something going on, like when there's me, there's something going on, like I don't want to, no, it's not I don't want, but something like I don't want to feel pain. And it's about feeling happy, feeling comfortable, feeling more free, anything like that. So there's coming a drive to make it right, to do the right thing. Then maybe in the end, I will feel free, or I will feel happy. So there's that whole construct, like we call that me. It's a construct trying to help, like that you could say, trying to help to make things better. Because when there's I am here, there's also, and that's not at 2 years, but that's developing, that's the feeling that I can do something about my life. So I have a free will. I have choice, and I can do something with that. So make things happen. That's normally what's really convincing. So when that's going on, that feels like I have a choice, I have responsibility. There's coming up a lot of things about what's going on. But what that whole thing is, that's what we call me, what I call me, like to say that. Me is that whole structure that seems to give you like that feeling of I have a choice, I can do something about what's going on. Options about do I have the right decision, do I have to not the right decision, all that. So it's being busy with that all day and having ideas about what's going on. The funny thing is, it's completely useless. But when there's me and when I'm living my life, that whole construct, like trying to understand, trying to make the right decision, trying to do the right thing and all that, it seems so important and very obsessed with what's going on. And then hearing here that it's completely useless, that it doesn't have any power. It doesn't have any power because you could say there is already no me. There is no one separate. There is no separate person here inside. That only there is a construct. We can understand that there's something inside. There is distance. There's time. So that whole idea that I am here and there's something there and I can make my life work is all about being able to abstract what's going on. So there's only humans that are in separation, you could say, because the brain can abstract. When that's like little children, it's not yet happening. It's just one. But when that being able to abstract is going on, it's so convincing and it's so feeling like, oh, I have to do that because it's very important. And that's getting more embodied. So when that's more embodied, you could say, then it's not only that those thoughts in the mind or in that those thoughts are coming, but it's something else that's already going on. So you could say the body taking that like, oh, this is important to do, that's already going on. So this is also not talking about not thinking anymore certain thoughts or doing something different with the free will, or maybe letting go or all that, what a lot of spiritual teachers say. It's not about doing something else with what your life is. There's no, how can you say it? There's nowhere to go. And that's very strange because normally we think, yeah, okay, there's something not right. I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling not comfortable. I'm not free. There's something not right yet. And maybe in this like non-duality, there will be the answer. Because what we normally do is looking for answers, looking for understanding maybe, or in another way answers, or maybe I can feel my feeling more, or there are all kind of ways trying to do, because we used that's the way we act in life. And then there's coming this kind of non-duality meeting. And they're saying, no, there's no one. So there's also no choice and no free will. Because when there's no one, there's not me or something inside, there's also no free will. There's also no choice. So you're stuck. And that's what most people don't like, because in a lot of meetings, I think also about non-duality, the subtle can be it's about understanding this, or it can be when there's a lot of clarity, then it will be more free, or feel more free. It's already that what is happening. So and that's so strange, this is already complete. And that's what we normally think. There's something missing. There's something, it can't be it because it doesn't feel nice, or it has to be, there's some things going on I don't like, or all that. So just looking for answers or something else, or how to deal with this. And then hearing, no, it's this. And that's most of the time, that's not what you want, because there's something else subtly or stronger going on. Like this can't be it because I don't feel good about it, or it doesn't feel right, or anything like that. When there's hearing, it's this, most of the time it's not heard, because there still can be some ideas about, oh, it's about no me. So now it's about losing the me and trying to, how can we get rid of that me, and how can we do that? And then first, normally a lot of people are trying to understand or being clear. So, it's very clear. But when it's clear, it's only someone who's clear. And that's so annoying, because it can be so clear what's going on, and feeling like, oh yeah, this is really what's going on. But still, I'm in this mess and all that. And I'm still in the same situation and still not knowing how to deal with what's going on. And that's what me is very clever. Me is, I could say, me is a survival system. It's an escape mechanism. But it's so clever. It's using words that makes it like natural, or all kind of ways. So it seems like it's very subtle to escape from what's going on. But in another way, you could say, it's so simple. It's just what is happening. But there's nothing trying, what's here, what's happening, it's what's happening. But there's nothing going on trying to change it. That's lost. Trying to do something with it, that's not coming up. So there's no escape from anything what's going on. And there can be that feeling, like there can be feelings like panic or awful feelings or all that. There's no escape from them either. There's also no solution to try to get better or all that. It's exactly that what is going on. And that's normally what most people not wanting, because we want to have tools or something to make our life better. And then there's here and here. You don't have a life. So now I'm going in another way. It's even not only there's this body and there's no one in it. The body is also not real. Nothing is real. So when we talk about real and unreal, like everything seems so real and solid, like the body and the street or the chairs, and feelings can feel like they're really happening and they're happening to me and all that. And then there's hearing, oh, but nothing is real. There's nothing real. It's not even, it's real and unreal in the same time. It's only apparently real. So nothing is solid and steady. So because there's no story, there's no time, there's no distance. It's this and this, like hands, could say. It's an appearance of hands, and that's it. Nothing more. That doesn't have any meaning. It's just hands. It's as it is. It's very simple and ordinary, and we are on top of what's going on. It's like, yeah, but it's like hands. But yeah, it's my hands and all. And we are so quick making a story of it and doing something with it and trying to understand and all that. And when we talk about no me, that means all that's lost. It's only this hand. There's no explanation. There's no meaning. There's no why. There's this. And that's exactly how it's going. So there's nowhere to go. It's not somewhere else what you can find something. It's this. But this is already what's happening. So there's nowhere to go for a solution or anything because it's already complete. There's nothing to earn. There's nothing to make right because it's already that what is happening. And there can be an understanding, or maybe there's no understanding. It really doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing is more important than anything else. There can be feeling things and maybe in a really subtle way, or feeling something it's really like that, or they can be sitting. It's what is happening. So all is the same. There's nothing more important than anything else. It's an appearance of trees and bodies and that. And it's one. So there's what we normally think, like I'm sitting here and there's the table over there. And we live in time. So there was a yesterday and there was maybe a future tomorrow, and I will do that and all that. It's just, that doesn't mean it's not going on anymore, but it's an appearance. So it's not real. There's only this, and that's new. There's nothing before. There's nothing after. It's this. And that's so simple and so without any meaning, without anywhere to go. It's this already, because it can't be not this. It's everything. Yeah. Okay.
That was beautiful.
Oh. Oh. Mm. You have to talk in the stick. Not yet. It can be any question. It doesn't mean that, oh, we're talking now about nothing is real. Oh, and then, oh, this is about my life. So, oh no, there is no my life. So I can't say anything about that. That's no, you can ask anything when there's something going on in your life, what you think, then that's what's going on. And then maybe there are questions about that. I don't know what the answer will be, but there can be any question. So it doesn't need to be non-duality questions or all that, because that's talking about non-duality. That's just nothing. There can be questions about anything, personal questions about, or questions about what's being said here, or maybe something else. Public? No. Oh, yeah. You know what?
No names, no faces.
Just the sound.
Just the
You can
sound.
disguise your voice.
Something juicy.
You don't want that.
Question.
Mm.
Well, I'll come up with a question.
Yeah.
That's the mic.
Yeah, it's the mic.
Yes, the microphone.
Just for the recording.
For the
I
recording.
see
For the
it.
recording.
It's a bubble.
Fun
You gotta drink
with
first.
me.
Right?
Oh,
You don't have to hold it close.
Like,
Just hold-
like
just
a
hold
real
right here.
one.
Okay. You said something about everything goes on
Mm.
just the way it does,
Mm.
whether there's a me or not a me.
Mm.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I saying that
Yeah.
correctly?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that kind of, I don't know if I see that. Because it's already the case.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. But when there's me going on and I have my life, me is always saying, yes, but this is not right because it doesn't feel good. And there's always trying to make it that. So hearing that there's nowhere to go and this is already it, it's for that whole construct. It's like confusing because it doesn't feel like that normally.
So when you say there's nothing happening,
Mm.
it seems like a contradiction that
Mm.
everything's going on
Mm.
just the way it is going on.
Yeah.
There's no me. There's no separate thing
Mm.
taking ownership of anything,
Mhm.
but it's still, nothing's changed.
No, in that way, no.
No.
No. But when the hi. There's nothing changed. One moment. I'm like, I just have the question, but I just immediately forget what the question was then. Sorry.
Okay. It's already like this, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is this,
Yeah.
and it's already this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether there's a me or not a me.
Yeah.
There's no change if there isn't a me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
You could say that change, but it's not really a change, is that there's nothing arising trying to change it, but it's just not happening. So in that way, it's so normal that you forget that that was happening all the time, that there's in the brain, there's a lot of thoughts going on and a lot of things going on. That what normally is there's thinking about things and doing something with that, and maybe that's normally how that's going on all day. So it's very convincing, and that's it. And then when it's not happening, the strange thing is you forget it was there and it's normal again. So it's just, there's no change. That what is apparently happening, like sitting or feeling things, that goes on. That was already going on. So it doesn't, that idea that there's someone, that it's an embodied feeling or idea that there's someone, is already not real. But it's so convincing and so being busy with that and confirming and like that. But it's gone. And it's during the day, it's not always there. That idea that I'm here. It's still just walking or cooking there's nothing going on. It's just cooking or something else.
Okay. Yeah.
It's already like that.
Yeah. It's already.
But that me construct, that ideas of looking at yourself and think like, oh God, I should have done this and all that. That is so convincing and so strong, and not only ideas, but that's so embodied. So that I call that me.
Yeah.
But it's not really something else because it's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's complete as it is. So there can be thoughts and there can be thinking there's meaning in that. Then that's what's going on. There's nothing wrong or right with that. It's just what's happening.
It just goes
But
on.
for me, you can't say, yeah, it's not just what's happening all the time, because that's strange, because it feels not like that. It can be a way out to say like, oh, it's just what's happening. Yeah, hello, when there's something really, really strong here, panic, it's not, you
Yeah.
can say, but it's not felt like that.
Yeah. Panic is panic.
Yeah, panic is panic, and it's full on, and you can't,
Yeah.
there's nothing going on trying to change it. So there's no escape. And what normally is going on is trying to escape from all kinds of situations and feelings and all that, to feel good about yourself. Because me is a very busy structure trying to feel good about yourself, and has all kinds of ways to do that. And you can see it most of the time very good with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
But whoa, it's so convincing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
So I don't like what's happening.
Yeah.
It's really at times like, today what was happening, but when good things are happening, then I'm feeling good, right?
Yeah.
So I like when that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when there is like isolation or fear or, just
Mm.
the what ifs
Mm.
or the worry,
Yeah.
or,
Uh-huh.
just
Mm-hmm.
feeling isolated
Mm-hmm.
from others,
Mhm.
if it's
Yeah.
at work or
Mm-hmm.
because I'm changing, that's also happening. So, I mean, I'll just say it that way because I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago
Yeah.
or 3 years ago. So there's changing happening. But yeah, so just kind of really get into that place of, can't remember that this is not real.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I'm really in it, when I'm in those emotions or those
Mm.
beliefs or
Mm.
the story, when I'm really in that, I'm one with it.
Yeah.
So then it's hard because it's hard to,
Mm.
there's nowhere to get, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's also nowhere to get.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, but when you say that, you only say that when it's awful things. When it's nice, we don't say that. So it's a
Right.
way to deal with it. So to make it a little bit more comfortable or not that bad or things like that.
Right.
Because it's so strong and embodied, that idea that there are bad feelings and good feelings. There are no bad feelings. There are no good feelings. There are feelings. And there can be a feeling like, oh, panic or anything.
Mhm.
But on top of that, and that's, you could say that whole construct is doing, it's looking at yourself and like, oh, this is awful. What is going on? Why? And all that. So that's that whole construct, that looking at yourself and trying to see, look at it and seeing immediately like, oh, there's something wrong because there's a good feeling is right. So there's some, and we should change that, or there should be something else, or all that. So that whole search for something else is going on. And that's confirming that there's, you could say there's someone being able to do something about it, or maybe you don't know, but there's still that looking for that different story. And what I'm saying is there's no escape. And that seems like awful, because then it feels like, yeah, when I'm feeling that, I have to stay in that feeling, or what do you mean, or things like that. There's also no choice in that, because there's no one. So there's never a choice. So it's not, it's so different to say, because we're looking for clues or to understand what can I do, or how can I change it. There is no change. There's no one. So there's also this, but this, when there's looking at it and seeing like there's two, there's always something, or this right or this wrong. That's in that way the thing, like when there's separation and you feel like, look at yourself or noticing what's aware of what's going on, there's always a divider. It's, this is right, I don't like this, or I like this, or all that. So that's the normal way of how we are used to do that. It's very convincing, and we have to deal with it, or all that. And then there's trying to get out, or something like that. And this, talking about complete other possibility. It has nothing to do with the story. And what we normally do, it's when there's going on something, it's about what he said, it's about my situation, it's about what this feeling, or all that. That what is has nothing to do with the story. It's just that feeling, or maybe walking, or it's just that what it is. And the strange thing is, you can't do that. It's the only thing there is, because that's what's going on. There can be a feeling, there can be sitting, but it's so quick, you can't follow it. Some people say stay in the now, but that's strange, because you can't stay in that. You can't do anything. But the strange thing is, then when there's nothing going on trying to change it, that can be there, and it's suddenly like, oh, and then it's not like just like, oh, they're sitting. I can say, yeah, it's sitting. And you say, yeah, okay, sitting. Yeah, I'm sitting. Yeah. So what do you mean, like that? And that's normally what we think. And then suddenly there's nothing going on trying to change it. That's just, you can't do that, but it's suddenly not happening. And then suddenly it's like, oh, it's even indescribable, because life, then there's aliveness in it. And that suddenly it's like, that's one, and that's not that solid thing like, oh, I'm sitting and I'm seeing that I'm sitting, but they're sitting, and that's complete something else. It's alive and free and not going anywhere. It's sitting. And that can be with anything. It can be with feelings or anything. So when that whole construct, like being busy with it and trying to change it, is lost, maybe for a second or maybe longer, and suddenly it's like, oh, that aliveness, that you see it sometimes with babies also. It's just the only thing there is. But because we think everything, I'm here and this is the world and it's happening to me, then that is moving to the background, and we're looking in the story for something else. But it's not in the story. It can't be in the story. That it's the other possibility. But that's, you can't grasp that. You can't do that. So that's the awful, in that way, the awful thing of this talking in a way. But there can be a sense of, yeah, there is that something else, that when they're sitting or the wall, it's suddenly like, oh, it's alive. It's that mountain. It's suddenly, it's like alive, and there's nothing going on, and there's no meaning in it. It's just that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's very fun. I love listening to you. It's yeah. It melts everything around it. So my question is related to doing a version of, well, inquiry, wondering, where is, well, there's a thing, and I'm calling it me or myself, or because I was doing this and see, I was like, very clear, there is no me in this body.
Mhm.
There's no way I could put one in it. It
Yeah.
was like, this is spot, there is nothing, there's no way that's there.
Mhm.
I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I could see that there was sort of this construct of me that things seemed to show up in, let's say.
Mm.
Like, so there'd be a feeling, you go, oh, wow, there's a memory of reacting to it. Or there's a thought that this me now needs to feel that thing called a feeling and do something about it. But there's like, isn't there like an inquiry to go like, what? There's nothing to be done with it. It was just showed up. It just, there was a, anyway, it's more about like like talking about the inquiry around seeing what you're saying, seeing this is just happening the way it's happening, and kind of getting out of the way of that, in a way, getting out of the way of just being here with it's happening, but you're not even here. It's just happening whether you say you're here or not.
But who has to do the inquiry?
Yeah, well,
So that can't be, that's another way, a subtle way to try to deal with that me construct what's going on.
exactly.
That's only me.
It's
can do
me
that.
trying to deconstruct a me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very tricky.
Yeah. it's
I mean,
really
I
tricky.
really saw that there's a
Yeah.
me trying to
Yeah.
deconstruct the me,
Yeah.
so that the me could become something that was not a me that is free. It was like so crazy
Yeah.
making.
Yeah. It's so clever.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that suddenly what's going on is there's something like there's something going on. It's not like it's this is it or so, but there's something like there's still something to do or not to do, but something going on, and that's a subtle thing, because it's not it's can be maybe it's when it's suddenly something else.
Yes.
And that's so clever, because it's this. So it's all the thinking, but it doesn't have any meaning. It can be thinking. There's nothing wrong with anything. Thinking I can do the me and how you told that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't have any meaning.
It doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere. It can happen,
yeah.
or not. But subtly, there's a meaning in it, and that's the
I can just
tricky,
find that
yeah.
subtleness, and it's just like thank you for.
And it can't believe, and that's so embodied, that this is it. There's suddenly something going on, like, yeah, this is it. I believe, yeah. And what else? And then suddenly that's going on. And that's so confirming that there's something to do still, or in some way.
There's something
Yeah.
just some, yeah, like
it can't be just this in everything. Look at the world. Look at, I don't know, anything. Yeah. This. How can it not be this? But when I'm looking at it, then there's trying to understand, maybe, or trying to do something.
Yeah. That's I have spent most of this feeling of experiencing a life as trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Like, was really
Yeah.
quite proud of its capacity to
Yeah.
think things.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, you're not the only one. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
And so,
course.
yeah.
That's how it goes. It's trying to understand, because then it feels like it's maybe more free, or we have all kind of tools. Everybody has different ways to deal with it. Yeah. Trying to feel it. I was more like trying to feel everything. Trying to understand can be one. There can be so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing wrong with that way, but it's in the same time, it's confirming that there's someone can
Something,
do something.
and there's something can be done, and
and
there's
it has
something
to be done.
Yeah.
There's needing something
Oh
else.
yeah, it's actually paramount, right?
Yeah. And then you can go on. Because this is about, you don't exist. It's in that way, it's like, hello, what are you saying? I don't exist. There is, you assume there's Rose or somebody else. But no, there is no Rose. We assume that there's this body, this is real. She, like say, like me. She is living a life. She's in her life, busy, and how she does that and all that.
Well,
No,
she's
there's-
married. She's
yeah,
going to
all
go to
that.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
she,
all
there's a
that.
whole thing.
Yeah,
I've
and in the
I've
same time,
made your story in my
yeah,
own mind.
yeah. But there's no Rose. There's that making up, filling in the gaps, and
Yeah.
thinking and making it in a story. There's no time. When I'm saying there's no time, there is no continuation. Wow, that's amazing. No continuation. Like, yeah, but I'm here, and then like in 5 minutes I will be here, still there. I will be still there. No. What are you saying? No, there never was someone. There's no, the body isn't real. It's not always there. There is no always. This is completely, you can't even, it's just,
Yeah.
so there's no story. There's no Rose. So there's no, what's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. No, there's no
Yeah.
Michelle. And the paradox is also, and just like talking in normal daily life,
It
can be
appears.
talking about that, but it's just so obvious it's empty, and it's not real. So that, but it still can be talking about it. It's not saying like there is hunger or something like that. It's just normal talking also. So
Yeah.
how is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there can be a lot of questions about that, because it's so, what is this?
Yeah, it's
Well, or not, maybe not. It doesn't need to. Yeah. Yeah.
it just how it wants to it's like how it wants to get
Yeah.
understand. It's it's funny because
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a sense. It's a sense somewhere. Maybe you don't understand or anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can't grasp it. This is somewhere. It's like, but you can't grasp it or say what it is. Mhm. Yeah.
It's kind of relaxed, isn't it?
Yeah. Can be. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So many things I want to ask. So I'm going to try and just choose one. It seems when I look at a hand
Yeah.
that I am making the hand expand and contract.
Mm. Yeah.
And so listening to the things that the words that are being said. Hard to reconcile that there's not a doing, there's not a doer creating
Yeah.
this, and that none of this even exists. So that's question number one. Question two is, did Rose ever have an experience of actually feeling separate?
Oh,
Or did Rose just stay a child forever?
well, you could say, yeah,
Forever.
there's two questions. Well, when there's about Rose, that there was a period, you could say in the story, there was a period that was separate, and I was feeling like I'm here, and like everybody else, I'm here, and I'm looking for it, and I have some ways to deal with life and all that. That was just like everyone else. And then there were some like awakenings going on, and then in that way and there was suddenly that moment, yeah, just like a story, that suddenly it didn't go on. That whole construct, like looking at yourself and being busy with trying to change it, it didn't go on. I don't know why. It just happened like that. And then that moment, it was so obvious, like, oh, there never was someone, but it's just this. Yeah, I can't say how. So there was no.
So
that
it was
wasn't always-
spontaneous. There
Yeah, that was
wasn't
spontaneous.
effort. There wasn't being in
No.
non-dual conversations. This is just
No.
one day everything was
No.
different.
No, there wasn't being busy with. I was always busy with trying to feel what's going on and deal with it and all that. And that suddenly stopped. So it was like, huh? And then everything was so clear, and like that, I had a feeling I could talk for hours, like, or weeks for that, but that fell away too. So it's not even about being clear. When I'm walking around, just in the story, there's nothing being clear about what this is. When there's a meeting, then suddenly that talking is going on. But when there's just being outside normally, there's no clarity at all. No, just you're sitting in the car or something else. Yeah.
And the hand question.
Oh, yeah, the hand question. But what we normally, when we were very young, we are like, there's suddenly that separation, that feeling that there's someone over there, there's distance, you can see someone over there, and there's here. So there's suddenly, and that the brain can understand that suddenly. So they're suddenly like, oh, and that grows, and that's very convincing. But in that, there's also that, no, it's not a story, but that the belief that I can do something about it, because it's a feeling of loss. So that feeling that I can do something about it, I have a free will and a choice. It gives something to that. You have the feeling I can live my life because I have a choice and I can do something about it. And that's so embodied, that belief that I do it and I have the control and all that. That belief and the experience go together. Because when there's doing that, as I see it, it's just happening. But it's so quick on top of that I'm doing it. Because there's no one, how can we even believe that? Because when there's doing that, it's not every time a decision like, now I'm going to bow my way, now I'm going to do this, now I'm going to, no, it's just what's happening. And on top of that, we believe, yeah, I did it. That's later on. It's even like being in science, that that's what's happening. And on top of that, there's that thought, I'm doing it.
So the thought that comes prior to the hand squeezing,
No, after.
I think to myself, I'm going to
Oh.
squeeze my hand.
Oh, like that.
And then I squeeze my
Oh,
hand.
yeah. Okay.
There's a thought first, and then the
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
squeezing, and then
Okay.
there's ownership about the
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Therein lies the distortion.
Yeah.
Yes. That the thought is a manifestation that I take ownership of. Yes.
Yeah, but that idea that you do it is just the belief, and then you experience it also in that one.
The doing of the hand squeezing, or
It's
the
like
doing of the thought.
we think like we do with the thoughts, we make something happening. It's just a thought, that there's no power in thoughts. It's a thought. It's just thought energy. And we believe that the thoughts are empowering of how do you doing this. No, thoughts are only thoughts, and this is just what's happening. They don't have any relation.
And is that because there's no time? Because
There's
it
no
seems
time.
like it
Yeah.
seems pretty believable
Yeah.
to think I'm going to
Yeah.
squeeze my hand, and here's my hand squeezing.
Yeah, but yeah, of course, because when you believe that you have the power to do that, and the thoughts are making that happening, then you see it in that way, and you feel it in that way, and then you see I see the proof in that way. But there's no time, and there's no relation between anything. So it's not this is happening because of that. That's a construct. That's how we live our lives. That it's all about relation and living in time and continuation, and this is because of that, and that is why. There are no relations.
So the experience of being that's occurring for Rose, is there any, this is, the mind can't help but want to ask why. This
Yeah.
is like
Yeah,
always,
of course.
why? Why is
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Why
yeah,
is
of
that? And
course.
it's like somehow if there was some understanding, then
Yeah.
maybe I could wake up a little sooner, right?
Yeah.
But there's definitely and this comes up a lot, is this looking at children that are just being, and they don't have a sense of separation, and you can see this.
Mm-hmm.
And then something shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why?
What I understand, it's like the brain can abstract, and when the brain can abstract, there's suddenly like seeing that there's distance. That before that, really little children, they don't see that. They don't understand distance. They don't understand that, and suddenly the brain can abstract and can see like, oh, this is before that, and can you get it over there? And then the whole story starts, and then there's on top of that, there's also time. If you say like a 2-year-old, like tomorrow, it's like, what is tomorrow? It's that. But when you can abstract, that still goes on. That's when everything is lost. That still goes on. That it's not that the brain doesn't work anymore. They're still believing like, oh, we start at 6 and there's being here at 6, something like that. But there's no meaning in it.
Is there capacity to imagine?
Yeah, and imagine things.
What is imagined will happen when the body expires?
And the body expires.
When the heart stops beating,
Yeah,
that body stops beating.
yeah. And then the body is not moving anymore.
And the experience will be.
But the body isn't real. It's not always there. There's nothing always there. That's crazy because we
So it's
normally
just-
assume that it's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no time. When there's no time, there can't be always.
So there's not imagination around what happens when the body ceases to operate.
No.
It doesn't seem limiting.
Limiting. No, there's nothing limiting. Well, it's already, Rose is not existing, so there's nothing going on about, there's no death, there's no birth or death. It's only in the story. It can be just seeing a child come out, but then that's what's happening, and then we make the whole story up, like time and all that. There's just that. That's everything. Finished.
Yeah, I could just go on, but I feel
No,
like
it doesn't matter. It's good. It's good. So, just go on.
if somebody else says something, I'm happy to pass. I've asked like 4 or 5 questions all in one now.
No, it's okay. Of course. Oh, we can make a break already. Oh, oh, we just started. 5 minutes. Oh, okay. How we do it with this? Because we break it into 2. Huh? I don't know. Oh, it's not. It's 63. It's the That's enough.
I can the video stop.
We can stop it for a while. We have a break, 5 minutes. Oh, she's understanding.
She's the only one.
Um,
Whoa.
how do we do
Yeah,
it?
was verification.
How can I? Yeah, I can
You
stop,
just turn off your video right
but then you see the.
there and the sound.
Yeah, but then it's the recording is going on 5
Oh, I
minutes
see.
for
The pause
that.
is working.
So maybe we stop the recording now for a while. Oh wait.
Nee, van mij kan gewoon. Je krijgt hier onderin toch normaal een bouw.
Yeah, maybe
Ah, daar is hij.
meer.
You guys please help us
Nou,
out.
voor mij
with
moet je
their
opnemen
snacks
doen.
and their
Oh
drinks
ja,
in there,
opnemen.
and the bathroom is just down the
Op
hall.
pauzeren. Yeah, we're recording.
Are you live viewer?
That's nice. It's like that hour pops. Yeah. I do.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Actually,
Yeah.
I might know that a pop and I heard that they are good.
Yeah. Okay, after the meeting, people who didn't sign in, people after the meeting.
Mm. Oh, now it's beautiful. It's now getting dark here. Yeah.
Still the only one?
So I have a question I thought of.
Yeah.
So it's said in this message, all there is what's happening,
Yeah,
what's apparently happening.
yeah,
Kind of here and now, although there's no here and now.
Yeah.
So all that's happening is this parent meeting in this backyard, beautiful garden backyard. So you can say you have family in Holland.
no, there's no family.
Can you explain that?
Where's the family? It's everything. There's no outside. That's abstracting. We can abstract, so we can understand that there's someone over there and there's an outside. But this is everything. It's like little children also. It's just this. This is everything. So there's also no inside. We assume that there's all things going on that's because we can abstract and understand with the brain there can be an understanding of things. This is everything. And it's not even a meeting, it's just sitting. Because a meeting is making it into something. They're sitting, all this
Voices,
a
hearing
voice,
voices.
yeah. And that's what's
So to
happening.
say that we have family in another location that are doing this and that.
It's a story. And we're so quick because we live in the story. When there's seeing something on the television, the brain assumes that there's another country and it's an imagination about what's going on and the story about that. It's just that image on that information on the television, and that's everything. And there's this.
So if I
There's
pick up,
also no time, so it's not about time. So there's no that had happened and then now this. No, that didn't happen. There's only this.
so if I pick up the
Crazy.
phone and call my parents and they answer and they say, yes, we're in
Mhm.
Hayward and
Yeah.
the Bay Area, that's just what's happening then.
Yeah, hearing a voice.
But if that's not happening, there's no parents
Yeah.
and no other location.
Yeah. It's
Living their
very
life.
simple. It's very literally. And that's crazy because we're not used to that really literally. We're having all kind of thoughts and ideas and their beliefs and concepts about what's going on. And that makes it complicated because with that and feeling that I'm here, there are also a lot of behaving and should and shouldn't and all that comes with that.
Yeah, that's so impossible to understand, because we're so used to, say we travel the world and we have friends in other
Yeah.
places and we believe they're
Uh-huh.
doing their things in their locations and that's
Yeah.
all happening right now
Mhm.
simultaneously. the wars around the world and all the other stuff that's going
Yeah.
on. I believe that to be utterly real.
Yeah.
And it's all just a thought that that's happening.
There can be that information that still goes on, that understanding that there's a war somewhere, but there's no meaning in it. It's nothing is more important than anything else. And when there's I'm here, then there's seeing everything is real. That's when there's that separation, and I'm here and other people or seeing that. Then when that's there, then everything seems real, and then there's that understanding like, oh, there's war or family and I have to behave in a certain way or all that coming with that.
Yeah, I mean, that abstracts out to the fact that there's a planet called
Yeah.
Earth
Yeah,
floating around
Yeah.
in a solar
Yeah.
system, in
Yeah.
a galaxy,
yeah,
and there's trillions of other galaxies. We can look in the sky and see
Yeah,
stars, and
yeah.
we imagine that there's
there's a lot of
Possible
information and
beings
knowledge,
in other locations.
but that has no meaning. We think it has meaning and it's important. It's just knowledge and can be interesting and nice to hear and read about it. Just that. There's no meaning in it. It's not more important than sitting. Can be, but it can be nice. Just that.
So it seems like this message shrinks the entire universe
Ah,
into just what this,
just
just this.
it's what it is. But it's not only saying it shrinks, but it's also saying it's what it is. Now, it's not that you say that during the day because that's
Mhm.
people do
That's
that.
applied
It's-
non-duality.
Yeah, it's a non-duality language. But so it's literally what it is. So hand, but we think, oh, this is my hand. Oh my God, what is going on here? And all that. So that's making it into something, and then there's the story, it should be like this or not, or all that. That's the story of me. There's always, this is important. I want to feel good. And how can I do that? And maybe there's somewhere also that feeling that I'm not good enough, or there's something missing, all that. So that's coloring everything. And then so it's a lot of complication in the story, trying to deal with what's going on when there's that feeling or idea that there's someone. And you can't get rid of that idea because
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
only an idea, it's only belief. So it can be there, but it goes all in you could say in the story, it can be a second there and then
Yeah.
like a long time not. So it's not real or something like solid. No. There can be some moments that are really busy with how to deal with that. So what? And that goes on. Yeah. There can be a lot of thoughts. So yeah. They don't go anywhere. They don't mean anything, but it can be there. But for me, it's like they mean something. They're really important, or they say something, or they help me, or whatever. They're just thoughts. It's energy, like the table. They don't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the idea that, there's an environment that we need to protect, and there's
Ah.
global warming or
Yeah.
climate change that
Yeah.
we're responsible for. We need to act on
When there's
politics
me,
and so on and so
when
forth.
there's me, there will always right and wrong. There's something looking at it, and it's divided in there's right and wrong.
In a sense of
There's can jump.
responsibility.
Yeah, there's some, and there's I want to feel good. So it jumps on the world, it jumps on politics, it jumps on relationship, it jumps on whatever. It's always about there's something wrong, and I have to, or I can, or I should, or make it right in some way or not. Or other people should do that, or whatever.
Mhm.
It's always the same story. It's the story of me.
You record it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the strange thing is when that doesn't go on anymore, what here,
Mhm.
then that whole looking at yourself is lost. And that looking at yourself is always doing something with, oh, I don't like this. Oh, it's shooting. I'm
Mhm.
always busy with that. And when that's lost, it's like, oh, it's not even noticed, but it's so normal There's nothing going on if it's right or wrong. It's like children, they just go
Yeah.
and do things. It's just that. Very
Yeah.
easy. It's also very easy.
But then comes the desire to have it be lost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The desire to lose the me,
Yeah.
because the me is so overwhelming.
That's the same story.
Yeah.
It's the story of me wanting to get rid of themselves because they're thinking there's something not right. I don't feel good in my life
Yeah,
or
it's like an
something.
annoying friend you can't get rid of.
But there's no friend.
Stuck
It's
in your
not a
head
friend.
for permanently.
It doesn't
Knocking around.
exist. It doesn't exist. It's making a story of there's something going on which isn't right. And maybe someday it will go.
Yeah.
But there's not something that isn't right. There can be thoughts or there can be a situation. It's not right or wrong. It's what it is. It can be a feeling, like any feeling. A feeling is not always there. It's for a time. It's like there, and then something else is going on.
Yeah,
It's just that.
sometimes when there's the feeling seems to dissolve, then there's the looking for it to find where did it go. To
Ah,
like, because that feeling gives you a sense of I'm here, and it's a
ah,
sense of security
yeah.
and safety, even
Mm.
though it's really irritating and frustrating.
Ah,
It still feels like a safety net.
okay.
You know, when it's gone, it's like, oh no,
Ah, oh wow. Yeah,
that comes up sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that when that being busy with yourself is when that's there, there's always looking into something which isn't right and trying to do something about it. It's just energetic. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with, oh, can I do something else or I did something wrong, or it's energetic.
Right. And it feels like you have to do something about it to get rid of it or stop it or manage it.
No, you can't.
But you
Because
can't.
there's
There's
already
nothing
no
works.
one, there's
Yeah.
already nothing inside. It's just the belief, an embodied belief that there's someone inside. There isn't. It's just this apparent. It's not always there even. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not wrong. It's what it is. We are so quick. Not only it's that meat. It's so quick jumping on it,
Yeah.
like, what is this, or what is going on, and making it right. It can be like, that feeling.
Right.
Of course, it's everything. It can be panic, can be, I don't know, any feeling. Yeah, of course. Because also when that everything is lost, there's no escape from anything. So when that's coming or when that's going on, it's just
It's
as it
full on.
is. Yeah,
Full
it's
on,
full
yeah.
on. There's no escape, or
Yeah.
there's not coming like, oh, what is this, or what can I do about it? It's just not coming. So it's just, but the strange thing is, it's also not coming that it's not coming. Something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Thanks, Rose.
Yeah. Oh, it's really dark now.
Sort of going on that same track of one of the first things Ben said. So I can see here a lot of times that this mechanism of wanting to conceptualize and imagine things. Like I can see, like, I think I understand what you're saying is that the family is not here. It's not the reality. It's imagination or conceptualizing.
Yeah.
And I see here this mechanism that does that very strongly, that has been doing that.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's an attempt to control, basically it's an attempt to control everything so that there's a feeling of safety here. It seems like that's its main shtick.
Totally.
That somehow if everything out there can be categorized and named and solved and taken care of, that then it'll be okay here.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a lot of work, because
Yeah.
but it actually
And it's never ending
no,
because it's
no,
always
right.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that mechanism going on.
It's just this.
Yeah.
There's nothing else outside. There's no outside. Just this feeling, sitting, maybe a sensation somewhere. That's everything already. Very simple.
Mhm.
It's not special or a feeling or an insight or anything. It's just totally a sensation, sound, seeing the body.
So those same mechanism may happen there, but they're just not believed or invested in or
Yeah,
grabbed
yeah,
onto.
yeah.
Mhm.
It can be and remembering of a family, and there can be, oh, I should call, and maybe it's doing that or not. Can be, yeah, that goes on.
I'm just trying to see if there's like some way to the gestalt of that whole thing of that mechanism.
No, you can't.
Um,
When there's that,
but it's like there's something wrong. It's basically something's wrong is what it's saying. Mechanism with
about the circumstances or the
Um,
family.
usually the circumstances, but a lot, yeah, circumstances, whether it's out there or even sensations in here, which are, it's hard to say whether that's outside or inside.
Yeah.
That's very,
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
Yeah. yeah. There can be stress.
Yeah.
There's no relation with anything. But there's stress without cause.
Mm.
Or panic, maybe even, or
Mhm.
thoughts.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that seems that seems what's real, that there is something here. The mind wants to
Yeah,
try and say why it's here
Yeah.
or how it's
Yeah.
here,
yeah,
but that tracks. There's stress or there's sensations or there's thinking. And then yeah, there's that
There can be
tendency
thoughts
to
like, I have to do something about it,
Mhm.
or
There's a
not.
lot of that. Yeah.
And maybe that's going to do it or not. It's not you doing that, it's energetic. So those thoughts can be there. There's nothing wrong with those thoughts also. Being busy with that person and thinking, oh, I should do something about it. Maybe it's happening or not happening. By the way. Can't be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also like, yeah, there definitely are times of more openness and emptiness and spaciousness and not all that stuff going on. It's not really a question, but like I guess if there were, it'd be like
Yeah.
how to land more in that.
But it's making that more special than something else. It's not about emptiness. There can be emptiness and feeling that freedom, or
Yeah.
but it's also stress. It's
Mm.
it's the same. That it's everything. So it can be open and but it's also contracted
Mhm.
or tension or anything.
I guess that's the part that's not seen yet. That quite like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's immediately like I don't like that or
Yeah.
well, it's a sensation. It can be stress or it's a sensation. But it jumps so quick. It's so embodied that oh, what is that? And that's energetic. You can't
Okay.
change that. You don't need to change that because there's no one doing that.
Yeah. So like for instance, there's like whatever's happening is happening.
Yeah.
And it's okay with life or whatever because it's happening. And yet
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
there's no, it's like
Yeah.
there are things that
Yeah.
rise up to say no or more
Yeah.
of this or less
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
But there is part of me, or just seeing that life in general accepts because there are these things going on. That's like the basic
Yeah.
reality. But here, there's
Yeah, but that,
yes, it pulls
because
and
when
pushes.
there's me, there's always somewhere there's wanting to feel good. That in a way, in the end, it's good or happy or free or something.
It does feel energetic for sure. There's
Yeah, yeah, and that, but that's me. That wanting that something else. And I say, yeah, you can want what you want, but this is it. Yeah. We think that wanting something is important, or it's about life, it's about what I want. No, life doesn't see you. So wanting the free will, there is no free will. Oh.
Yeah, that was kind of a mic drop.
yeah, and then there's like in a movement like, well, how do I release the energetics?
Well, how?
You know, it's more of the doing kind of
Yeah.
stuff of like, okay, so if it's all energetic, how do I release or relax the energetics? And again, that goes.
But it's not how do I release, and because we assume that it's all in the body or somewhere else, and it's about me. It's not about you. Life is not about you. Life doesn't see you. It's energetic. It's just going on. It's we think like it's this is me and this is important because yeah, it's my life and all that. There's no one. Life doesn't see you or me. It's not interested in that. It's just energetic how it's going and it's random. And we think, oh no, it's about me and it has to go right. So, oh, it's not going the way for me. Oh, what's going on? Huh? And life is more like, yeah, but it's like, I don't see you. You don't see me. Huh? What's going on here? But that's also the freedom. There's no one. It's what's happening. So there's no one busy with, oh, this is better and this is more and more. It's what it is. Very neutral. Can be pain, of course. The strange thing is, when there's pain, for example, there's nothing going on trying to change it. It's that sensation, full on. But when there's something going on, like, oh, what is this and why? And I'm gonna, then it makes it solid and real and important. And then there's a suffering going on. But when there's just that pain, it's really raw, can be full on. But it's that completely different. Maybe you know, sometimes some people say it's about accepting. I think it's not about accepting because that's about someone, but suddenly there's nothing going on. I don't want that. There can be some moments that it's suddenly, oh, it's just not even in the mind to fight it or something like that. And it's not good or bad. It's what it is.
So I thought it was like done and settled. And then when you said that,
Yeah.
so I periodically get migraines, and I had one yesterday that was just off the charts for me.
Yeah.
And I guess part of the challenge was that I wanted to do all these things and I couldn't.
Yeah.
All I was capable of doing was just lying in my chair
Yeah.
and just breathing and relaxing. But there was still some efforting in that to relax, to make it go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're offering as a possibility in that situation is
No.
No.
No. You can't do anything else. No, because that's when that trying to relax is going on.
Yeah.
It's not like you doing that. It's energetic. So that's what's going on. You can't change that. That's
Okay,
the
I
new
see.
way of
I see.
I just have to feel it or all that. Because there's always I can't feel it like that, and oh, still I have still the migraine. Oh, it's still doing not enough. Maybe
I'm
it's
still
the
not,
same
I'm still
story.
resisting. I'm
Yeah.
still not letting it go.
Oh
I'm still not being
God,
one
that's
with it.
yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right,
There's
well,
that story. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the release is when there's trying to get rid of things, and that's what's happening. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's really
Yeah. 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 Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's so clever, subtle. Ah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Oh.
thank you.
Yeah. Mm.
I think I'm sensing a little bit the truth of when you say this is it and it's everything.
Yeah.
Where I struggle a little bit is when you say and this is nothing. So that part,
Ah.
I cannot connect to that.
Mm.
The this is it and it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
That somehow resonates somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But this is nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't exist, and this is nothing. That and I've heard Tony say everything is nothing. So
Mhm.
that, can you just elaborate a little bit on that? Because that I'm struggling with a bit.
Yeah. Oh, I have to say something about it. I thought he wasn't finished.
What do you mean about nothing?
Mm.
Those, this is it.
Wait, just can you? Yeah.
So this is it,
Mhm.
and it's everything that
Mm.
I can resonate with.
Mhm.
But there is nothing, and you don't exist. That part.
Mm.
I mean, some way, I think what I understand when you say you don't exist, yeah, that throws me off, because even this construct of me,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
It's part of what it is. So in a way, it is, right? It's
Yeah.
not nothing. It's part of that. It's a construct. So it is part of that everything in a way, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you mean when you say it's nothing and you don't exist?
This is nothing being everything. It's an appearance of all things, but there's nothing happening. And we assume that because we feel like I'm real, then that everything is real. So that everything is happening. You can feel, you can see, you can sense. It feels real. And then there's this saying like, no, it's not real. It's an appearance. But it's nothing appearing as everything. So the everything is also not real. It's never real. That's the idea. When there's someone, then everything seems solid, and that's also the pain in a way, because everything is solid and the story seems real. I have to live my life in the story, and everything is happening to me. So that's the suffering is going on. So this is talking about another possibility, but it's completely out of the story. It has nothing to do with what seems to go on in the story. It's saying this is all an appearance. There's nothing real. It's a chair, appear of the energy, you could say, like appearing as a chair. Yeah, it's a dream. Yeah. It's like a mirage. You could say that. It's not a substance. No. That's something real. So you can't grasp it. It's that, but it's also the freedom, because nothing is real. It's just what's apparently is happening. That's the freedom, because there's nowhere to go. It's just energy. It's like, oh, there's hand or a feeling or that, and it's random. And we make a story of it, like it's happening to me, and it's all about, oh, there's time and distance. So it's because of that you do this, and I feel like responsible and all that. The whole suffering about the story, and there's something wrong or right. That's the most thing, like what it's going. And on top of that, there's also that feeling when there's that loss of that when there's being in like separation, there's a feeling of there's something gone wrong, or there's I'm not good enough, or there's something else not good enough. So that's coloring everything. But it's an endless being busy with the story because everything seems real. So I have to be, and it jumps for everybody. It jumps on something else. It's on the world. There's something going on, and war. It's about my life with people. It's about, and when that's a bit more gone, and then suddenly there's something else. It's always something which isn't right yet. It's always the same story. In that way, when people talking about the world and about that, and it's like it's always the same story in a way. And there's nothing going on. It's just nothing. Right? No, not the right. Being everything. But because we are feeling like I'm in it and it's happening to me and all that, it seems like a real story in countries and people and family. No, it's much more simple. It's only hand sitting, a feeling, without any meaning, without anything in it or out of it. No, it's just very literally what is. No story. And in the same time, that's the paradox. They can be talking about the story, yeah, yesterday I did this and all that. That doesn't mean it's real. It's just talking and then it's gone. So nothing is wrong or right. It's just talking like that.
Well, it seems like the me cannot get out of the me, right? The me story cannot jump into this reality of nothingness.
Me thinks it's prison,
Right,
that story,
right.
but
Yeah.
that's the misunderstanding. It's not prison. It's already free. That's.
But the me who believes he's imprisoned and cannot get out of me and is trying to get out of me, but cannot get out of me. So the whole story, right? How does that story end? I mean, I remember both you. What?
It's the never-ending story.
The never-ending story. And I remember both Tony and you at some point saying that just dropped, that whole construct just wasn't there anymore.
Drop, it didn't arise anymore.
It didn't arise anymore. Yeah.
It's energetic. Yeah. But you think it's happening to Rose or Tony. It isn't. That's the strange thing. That's what we normally think, like she has that and he has that, and where am I when it's happening here? It never will, because it's not about you. It's not about you, but it's so strong that there's something missing, and then sometimes, most of the time, it's going like it's not that strong anymore. It's not like in one. That's also for me. It was not in one moment only. That it's like getting not believing everything anymore that strongly. It's more like that, or it can be falling away of beliefs, and then something you see like, how could I believe that? How could I be so involved in that? It's just nothing, and then suddenly it's going like normally it's going like that. And what I hear also, like when there's dropping away a lot of things, there can be like periods like being in the desert, something like that, because it's the meaning is falling away, and that feels like, oh yeah, but it's not like that aliveness, like it's everything, but it's not like, yeah, it's not that, it's not in the story. I can't have that ambition anymore. I hear that people saying, or it's not like, yeah, I can't see the meaning of it, or that energy, it's too much, so I won't do that. So it's a bit like dry period that can be for a different time, different for everybody. It's a story, but and then what's going on is that it's everything, and then it's like being in the desert, and suddenly there's a life like, oh, it's everything. It's not about feeling good or free or all that. It's everything. It doesn't matter what it is. But You can't say that to yourself because that's only a concept, but suddenly it's energetic. That suddenly sounds like, oh, and then it's over.
So the purpose of us being in conversation with you,
Yeah.
at least for me, is generated from a sense of separation, wanting something, right? Why are you in conversation with me? Like, I know I am in conversation with you because there's still that sense of I showed up, there's a lack, some kind of a lack, I'm gonna get something, maybe I won't feel the lack again. So I see why I'm doing what I'm doing. From your position,
I don't have a position. There's no position.
there is no position.
That's making up a story about Rose. They're sitting and there's a response. Like when there's like talking to her and she gets a response. It's all that. Just going by itself. Not doing anything. It's just, oh, suddenly there's words coming and that's over there. Not
I
over there.
see.
It's yeah. Already going. It's already that. There's no meaning in that. It's not doing something. It's not changing anything. When there's a feeling of lack, there's a sensation somewhere, then that's what's happening. We think like, if there's missing something. No, that feeling of that, you call it missing or lack or something, that sensation is it. Yeah? Finished. Where to go? No, it's that, and then maybe not all the day, but it's from that moment, and then suddenly it's sitting like that. No, then there's a sensation here somewhere. That's everything. Or sound.
I mean, I'm trying to put together other tradition where teachers say that they want to help. That part of the reason why they're talking or preaching or whatever is because they want to help the suffering of the world, because this me construct is a suffering construct, right?
Yeah.
So, but you don't feel like you don't feel like what you're doing is because there is some kind of love. I mean, where is love in your picture? Like in
But
this
it's
picture?
unconditional.
Yeah. So tell us
So it
more
doesn't
about that.
see that anything is wrong. It doesn't see you in that picture.
Got it.
There's nothing wrong with anything. And there's no outside world or all that. But there's also no one to help. Because it's already complete as it is.
Yes.
There can be that sensation. And that is what's happening. There's nothing right or wrong with that. So it's already complete. So where's the need for help? Of course not. Yeah. It's exactly that phase. It's that. It's that movement. It's that.
Yes. Thank you.
So none of us chose to be here.
Yeah, there's bodies. But there's no one in it.
Right. So there was no choice.
No.
Just
No, that's an belief.
bodies showed up.
Yeah, can be suddenly, oh, that's there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the hard part is committing crimes or violence. That's the hard part. That there was no choice there.
Yeah.
Merely happened that way.
Yeah. It's not wrong, but it can be painful, or it's not saying it's right either, of course.
Right. Yes.
It can be pain, of course. It can be, and it's also, and that people saying that it's not being in the situation and talking with someone who has something like abuse or something. It's like crazy to say, oh no, there's no time and all that. No, when there's somebody telling something, there can be a response, and I don't know what, but there can be a response and hearing the story or whatever. Because otherwise it's a new method, like saying, oh, but there's no time, so that didn't happen. Then it's a kind of method saying that to people. That's making it up. It's making it into something. It's what's being with
Another
there
story.
with somebody who's saying something about what's happening. Then it's energetic what's coming out. But it can be like, oh God, or I don't know, but anything, or or oh whatever, or anything. It's energetic. And this is not a way of living, like, oh, saying like, oh, but there's no time, and it's what it is. Oh my God, no.
Well, that would be making a choice.
Yes. And it's also making it into the non-duality living or something like that.
Yeah.
There's no non-duality, it's just a name. It's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
No exceptions.
It's no?
There's no exceptions.
No, it's only someone can accept or not accept. It's not about accepting. There's no one. So it's that irritation, sitting, I don't know, anything. It's everything. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything. Turtles all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you already answered my questions before within 5 minutes. But I had this one thing struck me what you said earlier, following up on what Maria said. So the self is not real. And there's a way to grasp that, right? But when you say that even the chairs and anything else, all objects are really unreal, what does that mean? Like,
it doesn't mean anything. It's not real. It's an appearance of chair. Well, it's not all day like living like, oh, I'm sitting in an unreal chair and all that. No, that's only in meetings that's talking about it, that it's unreal. And it's obvious that everything is unreal, but it's just not thinking about it or talking about it anymore. But it's there, and it's making, that's the freedom. It's nothing is important, or well, it's just not real. But so what? You don't do anything with it.
it's not the doing anything with it. It's like, okay, there's no me, so there's these bodies and they're doing all these things and this is happening. But when you say that even the objects are unreal, but there's laws of physics.
No, there's nothing is real, and it's an appearance. It's not unreal. I don't know what I didn't
It's an
say. Did I
appearance.
say that? It's an appearance. So it's
Which seems very solid.
which seems very solid.
It hurts.
It can be pain, but pain is there, apparently there, and it's not. That's something.
What do you mean by it's not?
It's not there, and it's apparently there in the same time. When there's pain or any feeling, or it's about everything. It's apparently there, and it's not together. So it's making it even like less possible to grasp. Because we can imagine like it's an appearance, but if it's only an appearance, it has something real in it. So when they're saying no, it's in the same time, it's nothing, it's not there.
So it's real
like,
and unreal.
No, it's unreal, it's an appearance. It's not real, it's an appearance, and there's nothing happening.
Can you expound on what you mean by it's an appearance? That's what it comes down to. Because if we say that this is there, and you're saying it's unreal, but
no,
an
maybe
appearance.
I won't. Did I say unreal? It's more. It's an appearance.
I said unreal. You said appearance.
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
What is a? What do you mean, just appearance?
An appearance is like yeah, what you like a mirage in that way you're in a desert, you can see that, and suddenly you see something like, oh, there's a city, I'm going there. And then you're there and it's disappearing. So like it seems very real when you're in a distance, and you see that it's the same like with everything. It's
Well,
that.
this doesn't seem to disappear.
No, it doesn't disappear, but it's like that. It's just an example that
Hmm.
to imagine what I mean.
That's possible, right?
It can disappear. It can, because you don't. We assume for the body, or for example, it's always there, because that's so the normal way of we assume I'm here and the body is here and this is my life and all that. Well, nothing is real, so there can be moments that it's not there. See, and that's crazy because we assume there's a continuation. Of course, this body is always there. No, it isn't.
And is that tied to the me?
Yeah, that it's filling the gaps of moments that it isn't there, but it's seeing like it's making it into like, yeah, of course it's always there because, and making it up. But a lot of times you don't. There's nobody. It's not there. Well, no.
You don't exist either.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was the first thing I said.
You're okay with that.
Yeah, okay with that part. Was not okay with the chair not being there.
Not by the chair. Yeah.
Hmm.
If I were in a dreaming, like a
Get
night
rid of
dream,
it.
going off on Tej's thing, if I were in a night dream, which I have periodically, and someone asked me, like, is this real? Is this real? I would say yes. And
Yeah.
I'm real and the
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
But when I wake up from that dream,
Yeah.
nothing of that was
Yeah.
real. How
Yeah.
does that
Yeah,
apply
that's the
to?
same. That's the same.
Yeah, because in the dream, everything, when
Yeah.
I'm dreaming,
Yeah.
I'm believing
Yeah.
the Maya's really
Yeah.
thick. I'm really
Yeah,
believing
that's true.
everything's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps me
Yeah.
bridge the gap.
And then we think we are awake, and then everything is real. Yeah. Yeah.
The waking dreams.
Yeah, the
Indian
waking
teacher
dream.
called it the waking.
Yeah.
I just want to know whose dream is this?
Ah, it's this
Which one
dream.
of us is having this dream? Who's the real dreamer?
Ah,
Family, it's not your.
ah,
They're dreaming this?
yeah.
I wanted to ask, following up on also what Maria was saying. It seems like you and John flew from Holland for the purpose of giving these meetings,
Ah, yeah.
and of course visiting myself and Tej,
Yeah.
and, you know, enjoying time together.
Yeah.
It seems like all that
Yeah.
had a purpose.
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah. But it's filling that in. And that's very quickly done. And yeah, when there's a plane, it's so funny that when you go into the plane and you think like, oh, yeah, I'm going to that San Francisco. It's only sitting, there's looking, and there's seeing blue. There's nothing more than that. And there's that on that screen, you see like, oh, we're moving. But it's only that on that screen. Nothing more than that. Yeah.
So the idea of speaking with you, planning these meetings, here you are, here's the meeting.
Yeah.
All seems very fluid, continuous, and real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that's how life is going. It's very convincing that there's time, because we can imagine that there's a before and there's after, and we can understand how that's working and all that. And then that's just crazy to hear there's no time already, like no time. And sometimes you feel that because you're on holiday, you don't even know how late or what day it is, and all that is gone. But it's not only about the day, but it's also about, oh, when there's no time, there's no before and no after. And even something about the remembering of yesterday. You think like, did it really happen? It's a bit like, oh, yeah, it's strange. But you can't sometimes grasp it, what's going on. So time is a bit strange. So there's no time. There's maybe something else already going in, but it's so much when there's no time, there's no continuation. That's crazy. The brain is, and or whatever energy is going on all the time, like a lot of effort in trying to convince that I'm real and I'm just continuing and it's happening to me and I am. This is my story. It costs a lot of energy.
Kind
It's
of
exhausting.
terrifying.
It's
Kind of terrifying to think that
Yeah.
thought process
Yeah.
was just filling in the gaps
Yeah.
of something that wasn't even real.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
Yeah.
if my own mind just made all that up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all there is
Yeah.
this right
It's
here,
just
right
this.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
speaking with you or planning anything. Or that's terrifying.
Yeah.
For the me.
Uh-huh. Just that,
Because it destroys.
But don't say
it
for the
destroys its
me.
whole
There is
existence.
no for the
Well,
me. That's
all
the
right,
story.
whatever you
There
want to
can
call
be
it.
there can be that feeling.
The sense of self, the sense of being here, it destroys that whole
Yeah, but
identity.
when that's you say it's terrifying. There can be that feeling. That's what's happening. That's everything. That's just that. That's it. No story, no why, no because of the me or all that. It's just that feeling. It's it. Can be there. Yeah.
I mean, it takes my whole identity of having a
Yeah.
life growing up as a child and all the
Yeah.
memories, the friendships and the family, and
Yeah.
it obliterates the whole thing. It's just a
Yeah.
fill
Yeah.
in the gap.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Ah.
Really, it's unacceptable.
But it's free.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
so free. And doesn't mean there's nothing going on, like because we think like you need to be responsible or you need to do that. The funny thing is it's already going by itself. And we think we have to do something with it and all that. That's so quickly, and it's so being busy with all those ideas, what should be done and not done. And I have the story and all that. That's the whole thing to hold on and all that. It's a lot of energy in that. Underneath that, you could say underneath, no, it's just in the same time. It's just what's going on already without the story, but there can be a story with it. It's okay. It doesn't matter. And it seems the story is so important. Then there's something, no, whoop, no story. But that's what's going on already. It's like sitting and going and all. It's just going on. But for no reason, for no one. That's it.
Feel a huge contraction, tension in my gut,
Yeah.
as if
Yeah.
I'm saying no to this. I can't accept it.
But that's the
I'm
story.
trying to maintain
There can
my
be
reality. Trying to
there's
maintain that
tension.
reality. Yeah.
There's tension. And there's no explanation for the tension. That we are so quick in explaining why. There's tension. That feeling can be there. That's what's happening already. That's it. Yeah. That's unconditional love. Unconditional love. Tension. It's
So in that sense, this is the first time we even met.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
But it's new.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know if you say first time, but it's new. It's new. Everything
Apparently
is new.
nobody.
Yeah.
The chair.
That's fine.
The chair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Rose, could you say that?
What?
Would it be correct to say that when you, I guess when you start feeling like letting go a little bit, or I don't know, relaxing a little bit, whatever you want to call it, of the story of me, that you almost like fall into everything? Because that's how it feels. Like I'm hearing Ben saying like, I can't let it go, gotta hold on, there's a contraction. And when I try to like more a relaxation, like I don't really know anything, I don't have any ideas about anything. Like when I drop something, like there's a dropping of things, it has this feeling of falling into everything.
Ah,
You know, like
Yeah.
then it becomes everything.
yeah,
Like because this me with the story feels like a kind of contraction,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then so if you relax a little bit,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, but it's not about relaxing because that can be that a new thing, like it's about relaxing. But a lot of times when the me isn't there, it's more relaxed. So we think like, oh, it's about relaxation. So and that's a new thing that when it's
Right.
relaxed and that it's not about that because it's also tension. It doesn't matter.
but there is a level, there is some kind of acceptance, some kind of like the only time I can have a little taste
Mm.
of what you're talking about
Mhm.
is when there is some kind of a surrender. I mean, that's how I
Yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
internally,
Yeah, yeah.
right? There is a
Mhm.
kind, and I'm not meaning like the efforting of surrendering and the intention of surrendering, but there
Yeah.
is a kind of letting go of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort, and
Can
then I
understand.
can,
Yeah.
then I feel
Yeah.
you close, then I feel
Mhm.
you a little bit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, you can understand that. Yeah. Yeah. But then it could be the feeling like, oh, it's about surrendering because it's just what's happening. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Speaking about that sense of surrender, I
Mm.
had the same experience,
Yeah.
and I realized it's not me doing any surrendering. It's me,
Yeah.
in a sense, it's me being surrendered.
Yeah.
Just the opposite.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
you got
yeah,
it
yeah.
backwards and inside out.
Yeah. That's how it is. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like love a little bit?
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Not for anyone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a taste
Yeah.
of love.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
impersonal.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah. Yeah.
The personal
Yeah.
love, I love.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unconditional love. It's not a feeling.
Yes.
It's unconditional.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't even say how it is. It's
Yeah,
just a
it's hard to
word, but
even talk
it's
about.
like, yeah.
It's hard to talk about any of this with
Yeah.
language and word because they get so
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, to backtrack from this lovely place of being surrender,
Mm.
is there any such thing as asking for a practical
Mm.
what to do when XYZ?
No,
There isn't.
because there's already no one. So that when there's already no one, it's not, when there's someone, it seems like, oh, there can be something doing something. And in the end, and then when it's going okay, then in the end, I will have this or feel this but I'm saying it's already what is happening. It's already this. It's the way that looking, the way holding that microphone. It's that feeling what's going on. It's already that. So there's nowhere to go. So there's no need for practicing. There's no one can do that. But there's no need also because it's already complete. Exactly how it's going. Doesn't mean it's nice or all that. It's what it is.
There's not a lot said around what to do with thoughts. Although I did hear a reference when you were talking to Richard about how there could be still mental activity arising, but there's not. That's just what it does, right? There's
Yeah.
not identification with it. These are my words, not yours.
Mhm.
So there's an experience happening, and if one were to, or if Rose, if I were to listen to Rose articulate Rose's experience, I hear articulation of sitting, speaking, and sensation, but there's no articulation of thought.
Mm.
So I noticed, Nicole, when I hear you saying these things, it's like, oh, just drop the thoughts. Just like when the thoughts come, just drop them. Like that's because that's not reality. Just be with everything except the thought.
No, oh no. It's also thought. A thought happening. And there can be even thoughts like, oh, what's going on here? And then it's gone. But It's thoughts too, of course. It's everything is everything.
Including, well, obviously thought would be including what is here, because there's no denying that there are thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts are going to arise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's
that-
nothing wrong with thoughts.
So how does how do you decipher which thoughts to pay attention to and which ones to drop? Like, do I run this red light right now, or should I stop? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's the brain is like, is it safe to just let all that, like, how would you function? Would you die? Like,
Yeah.
it's all that. So all
Yeah.
that has to be let go, all of it.
No, that when there is no choice. So there's no one. So that when there's thoughts coming, that there are thoughts, and maybe there's the thoughts don't make things happen. They're just thoughts.
How are decisions made if there's no pondering of
But
thought?
it's coming. It's just doing. It's just come. It's just done. It's when there can be thinking or not thinking. Decision, when it's going that way, it's going that way. It's not even a decision. You can think about that. You can think like, oh, shall I take this plane? Or there can be thinking like that. And then suddenly they're saying, yeah, that's that. And we assume that it's me taking that decision. It's just what's happening. But it's not being busy with that all the time. Like, oh, is that now me doing that? Or this is, shouldn't I do this? There's no discussion about it. The discussion isn't there. But it can be all kind of what I do, and it's just what's coming up. It can be anything.
And when something intense arises, an example of something intense would be, there's always a perception that there's something wrong here. But there's a really big one that's like, no, like there's something wrong. Like there's something wrong in the perception of reality. And it feels yes, it's like dread. And it's not anything with relationship or life or Nicole or anything having to do with Nicole as a person. It's like so much bigger than this. It's this, I can hear it. I have a feeling you're going to say this is all just story, and I'm kind of hoping that's what you say, but it feels my question is, I don't know how to be with this. It's like this existential dread or fear that something is dreadfully wrong, and it's so much bigger than Nicole's experience of being a human on this planet, if that makes sense.
What when there's somewhere, and that can be in a subtle way, a feeling that it's about me, then that feeling there's something wrong, and you don't even know why.
It's
or
not even
how.
me. It's like so much. It's not even about
No,
me.
it's not.
It's like
But me
there's
is not
something wrong.
Yeah, but that me is not a thing or a place or some. It's big. It's you can't even say what is me. I don't know how to say it. It's all that whole. I don't know, but that feeling there's something wrong. That's so part of that whole construct. It's
like there's a
coloring everything.
Perception. There's something wrong in the
yeah,
perception
yeah,
of in the perception, in the perceiving. There's
Yeah.
something wrong with
but
perceiving
it's-
happening.
Yeah,
That's the only way I can say it.
yeah. I can say it's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding, and that's when there's separation in some way or another. Maybe there's that feeling. There is that feeling, and everybody has that in a different way. But the perception is what it is, and that's so crazy, because that feeling there's something wrong. It's not even a feeling. I think it's a belief, but it can be very much embodied. That feeling there's and it can be feeling very strong.
Creates
But-
a lot of sensation in the body. Creates
Yeah.
a lot of contraction and
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
It's not even rumination. It's like there's not even thought around it. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
it's not wrong. It's what it is, and that wrong is such. It's so. Could you say it's so integrated or so
Yeah.
strong in it that it feels wrong. But wrong is a belief. It feels like, oh God, tension, or it's that tension. That's what it is. And then there's something else.
So
That's
slow
what
it
it
down
is.
then. So there's tension.
It's only it's tension. There's
Just-
nothing going there, but there can be that feeling. But that's because when there's separation, there's always there's a noticing of what's going on. And it's a divider. It's right or wrong. It's just something like that. So it's just then there can be tension, but it's so quick. It's so
But it's not an
embodied.
allowing of the tension, because that means there's a
No.
person that's allowing
No, it's
tension.
not about allowing. No, you can't do anything about it. But I can only say this: what I'm saying.
It's not a submission. It's not an allowing. It's not. It's
Yeah.
a.
Yeah.
And it's not a welcoming. It's not a.
But it's not wrong. But it's
Yeah.
that there can be that belief that there's something wrong. It's only a coloring of what's going on. There's nothing wrong with it. It's what it is.
So what's going on is a belief that there's something wrong,
Yeah,
and that is
yeah.
allowed.
But you can't change that. It's not about like, oh, so I don't do that anymore or something like that. No, because there's no one can do that. But sometimes there can be a hearing of, oh, and maybe it's energetic. So that belief that can be so embodied that's going on. And when it's energetic and there's a hearing of what's being said, it can be, it's not like with you can't do anything about it, but it can be an opening like, oh, and then there's a subtle difference, but it's energetic. So I can't say if there's a hearing or not. It has nothing to do with you. It can go on. Maybe it's even stronger, can also happen. There's nothing wrong with anything. It can't be wrong. It's what it is. Everything what's going on, it's what it is, tension. Even if it's feeling like there's something wrong, it's also not wrong. It's that feeling. Can be there. Very much strong, yeah. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Talk about it's something
I think we
struggle with.
already. Okay.
Oh, we want to stop?
No, you can do. You can do.
Something
But
I
then,
struggle. I totally resonated with
Yeah.
what she was saying because
Yeah.
there's a period of time when
Yeah.
I went through everything she was talking about,
Yeah.
and I thought it's endless. There's no way out. It's
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah.
And there's a point where I was even suicidal over
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
It was so intense and
Yeah.
seemed like it would last forever.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
it seemed like somehow, like some kind of grace, it dissolves or it weakens
Mm,
or change. It stops happening so much
yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the beliefs around it
Yeah.
become less intense,
Yeah.
less
That's
believed,
more. That's yeah.
and it's like they kind of dissolve.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's just all of a sudden you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have
yeah.
that same
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling of I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah. Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
'Cause I've had that sense of the world is wrong. I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Since I can remember.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, I had that.
Ah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems in the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just remember those feelings as a child of what is wrong with this? Something's wrong with me or the world. It felt like everything,
Yeah.
not just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
like the whole thing is wrong.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Everything's wrong,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong universe. Somebody's got to pay for this.
Yeah.
I got the wrong parents.
Yeah.
Everything's wrong. Wrong
Yeah, yeah.
school. Wrong everything.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
literally felt like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
over my
Yeah.
supposed lifetime,
Yeah. Yeah.
it went in and out of intensity.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time when I was an adult where it was so intense, I was literally almost suicidal.
Yeah. Ah. Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried things, meditation,
Yeah.
radical self-acceptance,
Uh,
did all that stuff
Yeah.
for years and years and years, Buddhism, bite everything I could to try to get rid of it. None of it actually. I thought some of it worked for a period of time. For periods of time, it seemed like it was helping, and then it would just come back, and all those practices kind of just fell away as useless for me.
Yeah.
But hearing this message, somehow the beliefs just kind of the intensity of believing something's wrong, I'm wrong. I'm like, is that really true? What is that? You know, and it's like, I don't know. It's just like it seems like it just kind of dissipates.
Yeah.
And it's just no longer believable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Total story.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording only. That we'll see. Like.